Black Sabbath is often hailed as one of the most influential bands in the history of rock and heavy metal music. The band's dark, heavy sound and bleak lyrical themes helped to lay the foundation for the genre of heavy metal, influencing countless musicians and bands that followed. Their groundbreaking work, beginning in the late 1960s and extending over decades, left an indelible mark on popular music. Black Sabbath originated in Birmingham, England, a city marked by industrial decline and high unemployment in the late 1960s. The four founding members, Ozzy Osbourne, vocals, Tony Iommi, guitar, Geezer Butler, bass, and Bill Ward, drums, came together in 1968. Originally, the group went by the name Polka Tulk Blues Band, and later Earth, playing blues-inflected rock music typical of the era. However, the turning point came when they rebranded as Black Sabbath, a name inspired by a 1963 horror film of the same name. With this change came a shift in their sound and lyrical focus, with themes revolving around occultism, social instability, and the darker aspects of human existence. In 1970, Black Sabbath released their self-titled debut album, which, with its ominous riffs, thunderous drumming, and Osbourne's haunting vocals, was unlike anything in rock music at the time. The track Black Sabbath from the album, with its tritone riff, often called the Devil's Interval, has since become iconic, evoking a sinister atmosphere that drew comparisons to horror films. The album was both critically divisive and commercially successful, propelling the band to international fame. Later that same year, they released Paranoid, which further cemented their place in rock history. Featuring classic tracks like Iron Man, War Pigs, and the title track Paranoid, the album became a touchstone for the emerging heavy metal genre. Throughout the early 1970s, Black Sabbath continued to release a string of successful albums, including Master of Reality, 1971, and Volume 4, 1972. Their music was characterized by Tony Iommi's innovative guitar work, which was shaped in part by an accident he suffered at age 17, resulting in the loss of the tips of two fingers. Iommi adapted by tuning his guitar lower to ease the pressure on his fingers, which contributed to the band's heavy, sludgy sound. Geezer Butler, the band's lyricist, often explored themes of war, drug addiction, and social decay, which resonated with the countercultural atmosphere of the time. Despite their success, internal tensions and substance abuse issues plagued the band, particularly Ozzy Osbourne's escalating drug and alcohol problems. By the late 1970s, the band's creative output began to decline, and Osbourne's erratic behavior became increasingly difficult for the rest of the band to manage. In 1979, Osbourne was fired from Black Sabbath, a move that marked the end of the band's classic lineup. After Osbourne's departure, the band recruited Ronnie James Dio, former vocalist of Rainbow, to take over as lead singer. Dio's powerful operatic vocals brought a new energy to the group, and with him, Black Sabbath released Heaven and Hell, 1980, which was both a critical and commercial success. This period marked a creative resurgence for the band, though the lineup continued to change over the years, with various members leaving and rejoining. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Black Sabbath experienced numerous lineup changes and varying levels of commercial success. The band went through a phase of instability, with multiple lead singers, including Ian Gillan, formerly of Deep Purple, and Tony Martin. Despite this, Iommi remained the consistent driving force behind the band, ensuring that Black Sabbath continued to tour and record music. However, fans and critics alike often viewed these years as a less successful era compared to the band's classic lineup. In the late 1990s, the original lineup of Black Sabbath reunited for a series of highly anticipated tours, and in 2013, they released their final studio album, 13, which debuted at #1 on the charts in several countries. The album marked a return to their original doom-laden sound and was well received by both critics and fans. In 2017, after nearly 5 decades of defining and shaping the heavy metal genre, Black Sabbath played their final concert in Birmingham, bringing their legendary career full circle. Black Sabbath's influence on heavy metal cannot be overstated. Their pioneering sound, which combined blues, rock, and elements of horror, became the template for countless metal bands that followed. Beyond their music, Black Sabbath helped define the aesthetics and attitude of heavy metal, from their dark imagery to their rebellious spirit. Today, they are remembered not only as the founders of heavy metal, but as one of the most important and influential rock bands of all time.